everybody, we're back with another video this week. We had a little poll and the overwhelming winner was an unboxing video, so we did another one this week. Had some interesting things that we've never had in the store before, so let's get to it. Hope you liked it. Alright, let's get to box number 1. Rummynose Tetras, classic, nice tight schooler, mostly will swim around the bottom of your tank. Peaceful, good for community tanks, but also good in larger tanks because they do like to swim a lot, so you can get a lot of action out of a big school of them. These are spotted blue-eye rainbows, the little species of Pseudomagil. Get a little over an inch. The males get most of the color. They get like yellow with some blue spotting and some bigger fins. Have bright blue eyes. That's all the rainbows in Pseudomagil are blue-eye rainbows. Some female crown-tail bettas. Nothing special, just mostly monocolor little females. Some big male Congo Tetras. We get these in all the time. Mostly we get juveniles, so they're harder to sex, and it's like a 50-50 shot if you're getting males or females. And the males have all the colors. These are just bigger males, so they're quite a bit more expensive, but they're already pretty good size and starting to get good color, so really one of my favorite fish. Looks like clown loaches. This is one of the biggest eye catchers in the store, but they do get huge, so long term you're going to need a big tank of them, especially because they like groups of 6 or more generally. But they grow really slow, so you do have a moderate amount of time to get the bigger tank, but long term you need a very big tank. Oh god. Siamese algae eaters. These are pretty good at eating string algae. They're sort of known for their eating of blackbeard, and they're okay at it, but active, good in groups. A lot of times they're kept solo, and they're usually not too aggressive. They get fairly large, so you'll need probably like a 40-gallon tank at least to have one of these full lifespan, but a lot of people get them to help with their algae in smaller tanks, and then a year later or so find a new home for them. But they don't grow super fast, so. Oh, another bag of Rummynose Tetras. Panda Corys. Small schooling peaceful catfish. Probably the most popular species of Cory that we sell, except for maybe the Pygmies. Stay on the smaller side, only get up to around 2 inches. Good little bottom cleaner. Violet Corys. Same Corydoras complex as the pandas, I believe, so they also stay small, only getting just under 2 inches, I think a little smaller than the pandas. They call them violets because they have like this sort of purple hue to them in certain areas, but they're not like super purple. But neat little Cory. And finally, pea puffers. These tiny little murder machines. I tend to only keep these by themselves because I've tried many different things and they seem to always nip them. So you might have some success with certain fish that are quick and stay out of the way, but it's always going to be risky. Best in a species only tank, I think. Like in a 5-gallon you can keep one, and then depending on male or female you can sort of start to add more, like every 3 or so gallons is kind of a general rule, so a trio in a 10-gallon or so is going to work out. And that's the end of box 1. Alright, and here's box number 2. Blue Phantom Pleco. One of the more popular of the kind of fancy Plecos. These get like 6 to 8 inches, grow quite slowly. They're like algae eaters to an extent, but they're omnivorous, so you want to supplement them. They're not going to like keep your tank super clean, but they're pretty cool to look at. This guy's got some interesting vintage. Usually it's one color. Cardinal Tetras. I say it every time I film this video. Most popular fish in the store. These are Pristella Tetras. These, you can just kind of see it in the bag here. They get red tails, and then they get these striped dorsal fin here. It's just white and black. And then their body is going to be mostly kind of a silvery clear. They're a really good beginner fish. They're almost bulletproof, so. But they're also a nice little schooler. They're fairly peaceful, and they can kind of be like just some action in the tank while not really distracting from your centerpiece fish. And here we have some Festivum. These are called flag cichlids, I believe, but the tag doesn't say that. They're a South American or Central American, well, South American, not Central. Cichlid. They get like 4 or 5 inches, but they got a high body, so pretty big profile. Fairly peaceful, but not, not really a community fish. They get some nice like turquoisey colors on the males, and they've got a really unique body shape. So this is one we've only carried a couple of times. Kind of a cool little cichlid. I haven't got any Apistos in a while, but finally ordered some more. These are Apistogramma agasissizii. You can see the male. It's a nice spade tail and a lot of color, long fins. Female is a little more dull, but not a bad looking little fish. They sell these as a pair. Pygmy Corys, these super tiny species of Cory. Really cool though, if you get a big group of them, they'll actually school up through the water column. So a lot of times when we first get these in and we have 20, 30 of them in the tank, they'll be schooling all around. But that also depends on what else is in the tank. A real pain to catch because they dig down into the rocks and just, not like in them, but like hiding in between grains. And they don't like to come out of the tank. Pictus cats. One of the small species of Pymaloids. They get like 4 inches. Really popular. They are kind of a bright silver when they're in the tank, and they've got really, really long whiskers, as you can see here. Schooling catfish, so you do want to keep a group of them to keep them happy. Pretty sensitive, so you got to be careful acclimating them, and definitely quarantine them. They're really disease susceptible. These are the reticulated Siamese algae eaters. And, very similar to the Siamese. They're going to get around the same size, between 5 and 6 inches. Good string algae eaters. I find these to be better at Blackbeard than the actual Siamese. Whenever I've put these in a tank that has Blackbeard, that's always cleared it up much faster than trying the actual Siamese. So they don't have the line, but they're like pure silver with the black dot. I think they look cooler. They look more like a shark. And the final bag of box number 2. White Fin Tetras, aka candy cane tetras. These guys basically just get like a clearish body to white, and then you have red and white stripes on their fins like a candy cane. A little bit of a bigger species of tetra, not massive, but a couple inches, but also pretty high-bodied because they're high Festivum. A little more aggressive than some of your community tetras, but still will do all right in a community tank. You just gotta be careful not to put them with like really frilly fins because they can be kind of nippy. And that'll do it for box 2. Alright, and here's box 3. Sunset honey Gouramis. These ones came in a pretty good size. Nice yellow on them already. That's always nice. Small, peaceful, little centerpiece fish. One of the few Gouramis that are actually peaceful enough to be kept together, even with the males. Will do well in any community tank, basically. The males get a lot more orange up on the fins and will eventually grow into like a dark, almost black throat. Cool little fish. And we have a Betta, candy Plakat. And we have an emerald candy. Just a slight restock on some of the fancy betas that we got in last week that are already sold. Here's another galaxy. Pretty dark one. All of these are fairly spendy, like $30 to $40 betas. Then we've got a fire eel. We get these occasionally. This is the largest species of spiny eel. These guys get absolutely massive, like 3 feet long. So you need a big tank long term, and they will eat anything little. When they're small like this, you start them out on worms, and you can eventually get them onto dry food like pellets. They like to escape, so you gotta make sure your tank is super secure. And they also like to burrow, so a softer, like sand substrate is preferred. And we have some marble hatchets. Nice peaceful schooler. They almost exclusively will hang out at the top of the tank, so you can get some good stratification in your community tank with having some of these up top. They also handle warmer water pretty well, so they're in decent tank mate in like a Discus or ram tank. What do we have here? Oh, these are Compressiceps. This is a Tanganyikan cichlid. I think basically all of these are already spoken for, but these are orange Compressiceps. You can't really see from the coloration when they're stressed and young, but they grow into be basically like entirely orange, and they lose the stripes for the most part. Have a really unique body shape. You can kind of already see how they have a weird sort of shaped snout compared to a lot of other cichlids you see, but their body really gets a lot taller as they age, so you get this really weird kind of unique curved fish. But they're a cool Tanganyikan. You usually get these guys in the Calvis, but I don't think we've had the orange before. Neon green Rasboras. Nice nano fish. These guys will get basically pure green, like a bright lime neon green. Small enough to do fairly well with like shrimp or other just small community fish. More so like a mid to low water swimmer. Swordtails. Just a bunch of assorted colors here. Live bear are a little more aggressive than like a platy or a molly, so you got to be a little careful with what you keep them with. The males get these long, cool swords, hence the name. Rabbit snails. These are orange rabbits, yeah. Just kind of a bigger, cooler snail. These are unique because they have one baby at a time when they reproduce, so that they won't really overrun your tank. But they also grow really, really slowly. So if you have a baby snail, you'll have an adult in like a year or two. But they're very interesting looking, and when they move, they sort of like hop their shell by like moving their body forward, and like scrunches the shell forward and then falls down, and they keep hopping along. And the last bag, Boesemani Rainbows. Bigger shoaling fish. The males get this bright orange on the back half, and then you'll have like a dark green to blue in the front. And the females have the same coloration, but a lot more subdued coloring. And we sell these guys as a pair, so you'll get one bright male and one sort of duller female. Alright, and moving on. Okay, box number 4, and this one should be an interesting one because I haven't seen some of the unique stuff yet in this order, so hopefully we have them in this box. Otocinclus, just a schooling little dwarf pleco. Pretty picky, but really good at eating brown algae especially. You just gotta make sure you can supplement their diet if they eat all the algae, because they can be pretty picky. So hard to get on wafers generally, but something like rapashi or vegetables usually work. Neon tetras. Never heard of these before. Okay, here we go. These are Chennai Hillstream Loaches. And of course they're going to be like impossible to film in the bag. So this is a species we have never carried before, but a little more spendy. These guys get like this nice gold line patterning throughout their body, and then red up on the dorsal fins. Otherwise they're pretty like a typical Hillstream Loach in terms of being like a algae / biofilm grazer. But hopefully these color up once we get them in a tank and you can see them in all their glory, because they are really cool looking and we have never had them. Farluellas. These are long skinny loricarid. These ones came in really big. Just algae eater. They're basically a Pleco. Look like a twig, so they blend in on rock, or I mean on wood, really well. Pretty unique little algae eater. They get fairly long, as you can already see. These ones are probably already 6+ inches. They get like 8 full size, so peaceful, and we'll get along with basically anything. Okay, and here's a fish we have never had before. Again, they call these neon golden striped sharks. It's an odd name, I don't know, but they're a cyprinid, so they're related to like danios and carps and stuff like that. These come from Hillstreams, so they like highly oxygenated water. From what I've seen, they're fairly peaceful little guys. Will mostly like swim around the bottom of the tank, and they only get like 3 inches, so their whole body will get like a nice golden color in the males with red fins, so you can kind of see some of them. These are already pretty good size, so these go super well in like a Hillstream tank if you have Hillstream Loaches, or like like trout or danios, anything that likes faster flowing water. The biggest thing is to make sure you keep it super clean and well oxygenated for these guys. Kind of a rare spondy one, so first time we've ever had them. And then in here we have a snow white little discus. And then these are Bandit Corys. A little bit bigger than like a panda. It's going to get like 2 inches and change. Not as big as like a bronze or an emerald Cory, but it's kind of like, you can almost get that Panda Cory look, a little bit different. They look like have a little mask on. That's why they get their bandit name, but similar coloration to a panda and a little bit bigger corridor. So same thing applies to these. You want definitely at least 3, preferably 6+. That is the end of box number 4. Alright, that'll do it. Hope you enjoyed the video for this week. If you have any questions about any of the fish you saw, or you'd like to get any help for you, just send a message down below or give us a call. Have a good one.